Mom, I saw... What happened, Lucas? I saw Lisa. Lisa was calling me. What? That can't be. That was the last time I saw and heard my sister's voice. Was your sister sick? Some people said she was possessed. Some people said she was mentally unhealthy. But what's so haunting about seeing your sister? My sister had already died a year ago. It was almost 2 years after her death that somehow she communicated with me. I was scared and I didn't understand at the time, but when I grew up a little, I tried communicating with her again, but I could never reach her. Since then, I've believed in the unseen. Can you show me your sister's room? This is her room. Lisa's room was now empty. Her parents had moved everything out, unable to bear the grief the memories caused them. Just months before her demise, she had become uncontrollable. Her treatment failed her, and eventually, she had to be tied and bound to this very room. Lily walked around when she stopped, noticing some scratch marks on the wall. Do you feel anything? No, nothing. Well, you're not sensing anything here, but you might at the cemetery in Montague we're going to this Friday. Lucas and I got news there's a house of worship there that's been abandoned, and so is the cemetery. People say the place is haunted. We're gonna spend the night there and find out for ourselves. You should come along. This was Lucas, Ava, Dean, Josh, and Lily. Every weekend, these 5 friends met up at Lucas's treehouse for their PIT meetings. Lucas was the one who started the PIT, the Paranormal Investigating Team. And the first of the friends to tag along was his best friend, Josh. Over the years, Dean joined, then Lucas's girlfriend, Ava, and the newest member, Lily. Lily, too, believed strongly in the supernatural and the paranormal. And it all started a few years ago when she witnessed an accident. She was on the way back home from school when a car had swerved off the road and crashed into a tree in the woods. Lily was horrified when she heard the man inside shout out, "Help me, please! Hold on, let me see if I can open the door." Lily tried to open the car door, but it was jammed. The man was trapped inside, wounded fatally. He kept screaming out in pain until, at one point, he was no longer able to speak, nor have the will to escape as his time neared him. Lily continued to pull the car door, as she stared at the man dying slowly in front of her eyes. His eyes became dull, his skin turned pale, as he took his last breath. Lily couldn't bear the intensity of the moment. She felt an immense pain in her head, as her nose suddenly began to bleed. And she fell unconscious. It was ever since that day, ever since she saw death, Lily began to sense strange things around her, sense the paranormal, and whenever these feelings heightened, she had these unusual nosebleeds. Okay, I'm in. So on the next Friday night, the 5 friends met up again with their sleeping bags, packed the trunk with 2 tents, some water and food, flashlights, and extra batteries, and set off towards the cemetery for their investigation. About a 2-hour drive away, they drove onto a narrow road that led into the open cemetery. They followed old wooden posts leading to the house of worship where they parked their car. I'm creeped out by this place already. This place is more like a cemetery in a jungle. Rumors are this place has been abandoned for 200 years. Lily, do you feel anything yet? No. Alright, if you feel something, let us know. Let's go check out what's inside. Each of the friends grabbed a flashlight and stepped inside the house of worship. The wooden floors creaked as they walked down the aisle of benches now covered in dust and cobwebs. Hey, I found the stairs to the 2nd floor. Let's go. Dean was the first of them to run up, followed by the others, into an empty room. As they walked around, looking at the window viewing the cemetery, Lucas, Josh, Lily, and Ava flinched to a noise. "Dude, help me out of here. This place is gonna crumble down any moment." One of the wooden floor planks had broken apart, and Dean's leg got stuck inside. Josh and Lucas helped him up, after which the friends stared at a hole that didn't expose the first floor, but a compartment between the two floors. Is that a trunk? Dean stooped down and pulled out a rusted tin box. "Who wants to break this open?" "I do. I think we just got our hands on some ancient scrolls," Dean said, taking out his pocket knife. "More like cursed ancient scrolls. You always have to find a way into trouble, don't you? Please, are you telling me instead of opening this, you just want to put it away safe and never find out what's inside for the rest of your life? Dude, there could be money in here. Treasure." "Alright, you've made your point. Now open it." Dean chuckled as he broke the lock apart. The friends huddled together as he flipped open the cover. A cool breeze blew through the broken windows, sending chills down everyone's spine as they stared at something black and coarse. Yikes, what is that? Some sort of decayed silk? That looks pretty gross. Don't touch it, Dean. What a bummer, we found garbage. Dean shrugged, dropping the box to the corner. Let's go find a place to set up our tents. The friends left the house, grabbed their bags from the trunk, and walked out into the cemetery. There were overgrown weeds and vines covering over all the tombstones in the area. Much of them had slanted and fallen over. Walking down the path, Ava suddenly started to feel strange. Like someone was around them. She kept peering over her shoulder, but she didn't see anyone. She hurried on to catch up with the others. But just moments later, Lucas suddenly stopped them all. "You guys feel that? It feels like someone's walking behind us." "Like footsteps? What? I thought it was just me. You guys heard it too?" "I heard it too. It feels like we're being followed." "That's weird. I thought it was just us." The friends looked to and fro, staying still, trying to hear the sound, but it was silent. They continued on for a while when they got the strange feeling again. But every time they stopped and turned back, they found themselves alone. No sounds, no feeling whatsoever. "I think this is a good spot. We can see the house of worship and the cemetery from here." Ava and Lucas went out to gather some twigs, while Josh, Lily, and Dean set up the tents. It was around midnight when the friends started the fire and huddled around to the sound of the burning wood crackling and the crickets chirping in the silence of the night out in the wilderness. "You think this place is really haunted?" "I don't know, but there's no doubt it's a little creepy." "We thought you didn't believe in these things." "Well, it's the environment. Even I'm feeling something." "We'll wait the night out here. Maybe something might happen." "I'm gonna go get my jacket. It's pretty cold out here," Ava said, hurrying off to the tent. A few minutes into waiting for Ava, the friends jumped up, hearing her scream. They saw Ava looking horrified as she ran back to them. "What happened?" Someone's out there. Someone pulled my hair." "What? Some homeless dude snuck in the tent?" "I'm not joking, Dean. I'm serious." The friends walked around the tent and shined their lights around the area, but nothing. "There's no one here, Ava. Maybe your hair got stuck onto something." "Lily, did you feel anything strange?" "No, so far nothing." All of a sudden, a light rain started to pour. "You know what, you guys? It's 3 a.m. It's been a long night. Probably nothing is going to happen, and it's raining. Let's head inside." The friends decided to call it a night and retired to their tents. Lily and Ava were staying in one of the tents, and Josh, Lucas, and Dean in the other. "Lily, I swear I felt someone tug on my hair. This place is freaking me out." "I believe you. Have you been feeling something?" "I have, but it's so mild that I'm not sure if it's in my mind or I'm really feeling it. It could be because of the environment." The girls both fell asleep, wrapped in their sleeping bags, listening to the pitter-patter of the rain. It was some time later that night that Ava woke up hearing Lily tossing and turning anxiously. She was sweating profusely and murmuring something under her breath. No, don't touch me. Ava quickly shook her, trying to wake her up. Lily, wake up! What's going on? Are you okay? When Lily came to her senses, she sat up startled. Ava could see the stress on her face as Lily stared at her and said, "We have to leave right now. We can't stay. If we stay, we won't survive." Lily was about to get up when her nose began to bleed. Ava was horrified seeing her shirt get drenched in blood. "Hold on, I'll get the others." Ava rushed to the boys and woke them up. They too were panicked when they saw Lily's state. Lucas took out his handkerchief and handed it to Lily. "Are you okay?" "We have to leave right now. I'm not feeling well. The feeling is very strong. I'm sensing something very evil." Lily suddenly fell weak to her knees. The loss of blood was making her lightheaded. "We have to get her to the hospital as soon as possible. The city is about 2 hours away. We have to hurry. I'll go start the car." The friends rushed out of the cemetery in just minutes, throwing everything into the trunk and pressing on the gas even before they could sit properly. Fortunately, at this time of the night, the roads were empty, but Lily's condition only worsened. The bleeding didn't stop, and moments later, she became irresponsive, and her body started to become cold. "Hurry, Lucas! She's lost consciousness!" "I'm sorry, she's no more." The friends were all devastated when Lily passed away just minutes after they arrived at the hospital. Even the doctors were bewildered by her condition. She had lost so much blood in so little time. How did this happen? We had all gone camping. We were sleeping in our tents when Lily woke up and her nose started to bleed. We tried to bring her here as fast as we could. The only probable cause behind the sudden bleeding was perhaps because her mind was under a lot of pressure. But when we were examining her, we did find something strange. There was a small portion of her hair missing from the back of her head. After that day, I decided to disband PIT. It's been difficult to forget how dreadful that night was for us. We never told anyone what happened until now, but that's only because it's you. I understand. Thank you for your cooperation. Lucas bid farewell to paranormal investigator Aaron Moore. As he left the cafe, Aaron sat back, tapping his pen on the table, trying to understand what happened that night. They were in a cemetery. In that kind of environment, anyone would feel something odd, and with the 5 of them, technically someone was always walking ahead or behind, so it was natural for them to feel like they were being followed. But some things don't add up. First, what was in that trunk? You would expect scrolls or holy items, but decayed silk? No. Second, when Ava felt her hair being pulled, she told the others, but Lily never mentioned she was feeling a presence or anything the whole time. It was at the last moment that she suddenly bled to death. Why didn't she sense something from the beginning? And lastly, if someone had pulled her hair off, she would have reacted, but she didn't. Where did her hair go? Aaron became quite curious to find out the mystery behind the abandoned Montague Cemetery. So, the next night, he decided to travel there and get to the bottom of it himself. It was around 10 p.m. when he reached the house of worship. He walked inside. There was practically nothing but old furniture. He noticed a picture of a man hung up on the wall, perhaps of the priest that belonged here. He continued on upstairs and found the trunk the friends had left, still laying there where they had dropped it. He opened it up, shocked to realize what it actually was. This is human hair. Feeling uneasy, Aaron walked out to the cemetery. The area wasn't too large, and there was about 100 graves here. Aaron walked down the path, looking at all the tombstones, searching for the last person who had been buried. The further he walked, he too began to sense something off, but he continued on. To the far end, he stopped, seeing a tombstone on which there were writings chiseled on the stone by hand. Here lays an unholy man who fooled the people to believe he was a man of the Lord. A long time ago, in this very town, young women were being harassed and taken advantage of. They were always found dead, but one woman survived to tell the tale. When the townspeople went out in search, they were shocked to discover this fluid man was none other than the one they knew as Priest Parsons. The people were enraged, and they seek justice. So they buried the man alive here and shut down the house of worship, and later abandoned the cemetery. But even to this day, the soul of this unholy man haunts these grounds. Upon reading the tombstone, Aaron suddenly felt a strange presence around him. He stood up and looked around, starting to feel unwell as a moistness trickled down his face. Blood? Click on the subscribe button and check out more awesome videos on our channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon because you know it's interesting.